Ever have one of those nights where you just crave a little peace and quiet, a chance to unwind with your best helper by your side? That's exactly what Chris Mack was hoping for on a seemingly ordinary Wednesday night in Altamonte Springs, Florida. It was around 11 p.m., February 12th, 2025, as reported by WESH-2 News reporter Michelle Meredith. Chris decided to take a stroll with his service dog, Bohdi, a boxer breed. They lived in a quiet neighborhood, a place where you'd expect to feel safe, right? But this seemingly typical evening was about to take a terrifying turn, transforming a peaceful walk into a struggle for survival, a story that's now making headlines. Imagine this: Leatherwood Drive, the kind of street where you might let your guard down a little. It's a dark, but not pitch black, just that comfortable kind of suburban darkness. Chris and Bohdi were enjoying their walk when suddenly, coyotes! Not just one, but 3. Think about that for a second. 3 wild animals appearing out of nowhere. 2 emerged from opposite ends of the street like a carefully planned ambush, and the third one slinked out from a small patch of woods. It's the kind of scenario that would make your heart pound in your chest. I mean, who expects to run into a pack of coyotes on a casual evening walk? It's the stuff of nightmares, a stark reminder that even in our quiet neighborhoods, the wild can still find its way in. This incident, as reported by WESH-2 News, has sent ripples of unease through the community. Now, Bohdi isn't just a dog. He's Chris's service dog. That means he's not just a pet, he's a partner, a lifeline. He's trained to perform specific work to help Chris with a disability. And in this terrifying moment, his training, his instincts, and his unwavering loyalty kicked in. When that first coyote appeared, Bohdi reacted instantly. He's a big dog, 95 pounds, muscular, and powerful. He took off like a shot, his protective instincts overriding everything else. He was so quick, so strong, that he actually pulled Chris to the ground. Think about the force of that. Chris ended up with a nasty scrape on his face and some other scrapes on his arm. Can you picture it? 1 minute, you're enjoying a peaceful walk with your service dog. The next, you're on the ground, face down, disoriented, with coyotes closing in. It's a terrifying thought. It really emphasizes how vulnerable Chris was in that moment and how reliant he is on Bohdi's support. And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. While Chris was down struggling to regain his footing, another coyote saw an opportunity and crept in closer. Talk about feeling exposed. But Bohdi wasn't about to let anything happen to his handler. Chris called him back, and Bohdi, like a rocket, came charging. Chris described it in the WESH News 2 interview as a 95-pound dog hitting a coyote at 35 miles per hour. Imagine the impact. He said the coyote went flying like a bowling pin getting knocked over. It was enough to startle the other coyotes, sending them scattering back into the darkness. Bohdi, the service dog, the hero of the story, had protected Chris. Chris is recovering now, and he's probably replaying the whole terrifying ordeal in his mind. He's remarkably philosophical about it, though. He acknowledged in his interview with WESH that it's just nature and you can't always predict when something like this is going to happen. He also made a really important point about development. He said that with all the building and expansion, we're pushing further and further into these animals' habitats. So encounters like this are becoming almost inevitable. It's a scary thought, but one that we absolutely need to consider. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is investigating this incident, as WESH-2 News reported, but the bigger question remains. What's going to happen next? Will the coyotes be back? And what can people do to protect themselves, their families, and service animals from these kind of encounters in the future? This recent news story reported by Michelle Meredith of WESH2 on February 14th, 2025, serves as a stark reminder of the challenges of coexisting with wildlife in our rapidly developing world. My research into the topic of protective trained service dogs led me to discover the surprising truth about them, a topic that's both fascinating and often controversial. Click on this link to see it.